Welcome to a new episode of the Hero Wars Jungle. The Way of Eternity received a new reinforcement, Iris, the demonic nerd who looks not really creepy, but she likes to burn down her enemies slowly and painfully. Her damage can be really nice, and when Iris claps her hands, she is able to execute her enemies. Besides her ultimate, Iris has only one ability to do damage, and that's her violet skill, which is even a passive one. Every applied debuff on your enemies triggers this skill, and they will burn for the same duration. With 4 or 8,000 magical damage per second, not really high, but we can stack it up to 5 charges, which could be about 40,000 per second. And this sounds much better. How can we debuff our enemies? Yes, with our own green skill. Bitey comes out of her book and reduces the magic defense of our enemies by about 14,000. That debuff triggers now our violet skill, and the enemies get 1 charge of the inner fire. Iris uses this skill pretty often and early in the fight. Bitey is not the fastest slave, and the enemies get the debuff only if he touches them. Also, the debuffs done by your allies triggers Iris' violet skill, and we get additional burning effects. But Bitey's debuff has also a great secondary effect. He extends all other incoming or already applied debuffs for 5 seconds. Her blue skill has also 2 effects. The first part, she is immune to debuffs. Very interesting. What happens if Iris fights against herself? Wow, very weird. No debuffs, no damage. The second part punishes your enemies who are trying to debuff or to mark your teammates. She debuffs them too, and they will burn, plus their physical and magical attack will be reduced. Not really high, but it can stack endless. Ceteri marks his territory like a cat does, and we see immediately he gets burned. But hey, we see a double burning effect. Is it because of his intelligence stealing effect? No, even against Astrid and Lucas do we find the same behavior. So her blue skill is even stronger than expected. The physical and the magical reduction count as a separate debuff. Cool, so with this ability do we get double debuffs for a faster stacking. And this brings us to her last ability, her ultimate. She gains for each buffed ally and debuffed enemy 1 soul charge. When she uses her ultimate, all souls will be consumed and the damage increases. We have 3 different values, the base damage and the additional damage per soul charge. Let's look how this works at first. In this example do we see how Bitey bites Kira and Dorian. At this moment, Iris uses her ultimate. She could collect 2 souls, and we see even how she pulls them out of them. This Iris has a base damage of 34,000. Her skill has a 40% multiplier, so her artifact weapon provides additional 10,000. At max we would have 2,000 more. 1 soul does additional 3,000 plus 1,000 artifact bonus. So with 2 souls we get nearly exactly the same numbers which we see on the screen. The damage is calculated for each enemy and is not splitted. The last value is for the second part of her ultimate, the execution. It scales with magic attack buffs too, and the multiplier is the same like the base damage, 40%. With some buffs her first part does nice damage and drops often the enemies down. Now she claps her hands and boom! Everyone under this limit, goodbye. Their souls are released. Rest in peace. I have a really interesting point in mind. What was it? Ah, here. Perhaps you know this nice guy.
There is a really interesting point to this. If your opponent, or whatever, if a hero dies from Iris's, this threshold after the ulti, he cannot be brought back. He cannot be brought back with the resurrection from Astaroth. He cannot be brought back with Rufus. If Rufus dies from this threshold thing, he's just dead. That's it. He cannot go back. That's another interesting thing.
That's really interesting, and we have to check this information. Rufus has a strong ability against mages. He can't be killed by magical damage. He comes just back. Here is the first part of Iris' ultimate, and yes, it's magical damage, and he comes back. Now she drops him down with the first part and she claps. Soul released. Rufus dead. Checked. Astaroth. It was not so easy to get this timing, but Iris released his soul perfectly. We see it clearly. Hey, he comes back. Okay, not dramatic, but good to know. Rufus, yes. Astaroth, no. What about Fafnir and his anti-die protection? There was much confusion about it. Let's take a look at this behavior. Fafnir's protection works only for the hit which drops the protected hero under the 25% limit. So we need exactly a point between two limits, and here it is. First part dropped Kira under Iris' limit, but it's still over Fafnir's limit. A quick clap. The soul is released. Bye bye. Oh, the protection was successful. Check. Keep in mind, it works only if Fafnir's shield wasn't triggered. If the first damage drops the hero under the 25% limit, like Artemis here, Fafnir's anti-die protection is already consumed, and Iris can't kill this hero. If Astaroth doesn't revive him. Now let's talk about Iris usage and which heroes she counters. The first section are the debuffers, like Dante. He's a very annoying guy who loves to show his hidden spear. Now with Iris we have an easy way to counter him. We have also a new way to counter Faceless. Not pretty hard, but at least a little bit. Iris alone can't handle well his high magic defense. Nevertheless, a new option to get him down faster. The same for Phobos, but he has more frequently debuffs, which helps to counter him much better with her. And a very interesting hero who she counters is Jet. He is the engine for some good old setups, and Iris helps to defeat him. Here do we see how easy it is to counter Dante. He gets burned early in the game, and thanks to Bitey, we reduce his magic defense and extend the debuffs. Faceless has not so many debuffs, and without a magic penetration supporter, pretty hard. Look here at the right Phobos. It's very fascinating what happens with a maxed Phobos. But to be fair, our own Phobos helped here a lot. I will explain this synergy later. In this example, do we find an answer to counter Jet? When he shoots his acid to the highest armored hero, he starts to burn twice, and Bitey reduces perfectly his magic defense for the maximum damage. Iris allows us to counter completely different heroes we couldn't counter before. And we have even more, the marker, like Mojo with his Hex ability, which triggers every 2 seconds, Astrid and Lucas with their normal basic attack, and we can even counter Darkstar better now, and the most popular marker, Sattery. Especially the Mojo Brawl showed us the power of Iris against Mojo. His Hex ability was very easy to counter, and it felt even ridiculous. The same for Astrid and Lucas. You don't have to do anything, they are just dying quickly. Darkstar is not so easy. She's one of the lowest life hero, has not enough magic defense, and her violet marking ability does the rest. The last one is Sattery. He spreads out his mark everywhere. Iris doesn't like this and he starts to burn immediately with his first attack. It's very awesome how fast he can die, and we see the undead power. But that's only half the truth, and you have to be careful with that idea. Iris has a really low magic penetration value. Thanks to Bitey, she reduces the magic defense of the enemies a lot. But at the end, we will have only about 90,000 together, and of course only for a limited time. Mojo and Sattery have a magic defense skin, which increases their values a lot, and Iris damage is very low then. This means her usage depends on how well your enemy has upgraded his magic defense, or on your supporter. Here do we see the difference with a fully upgraded Sattery. He doesn't die so fast. Iris reduces his magic attack even to 0, but he can withstand long enough to overcome those debuffs. In the worst case, he will get the less purifying sphere and then you will get some problems. After the brawl, Mojo received his magic defense skin, probably exactly because of this easy counter, and now it's not so easy anymore. The team setups. Iris needs many debuffs and buffs to be great. Like always, she has great synergies with her own faction. Corvus' ultimate has an area affected debuff included, which is really perfect for Iris. He reduces all defense values by 6000, and if we have a lot of Eternity heroes, we can push this value up to 15,000. Bitey can extend this debuff and we have a lot of reduction in this moment. Additionally, he increases Iris magic attack by 10,000 and it counts as buff. Not to forget his altar, which does passive 15,000 pure damage for each hit our team receives. It feels similar to her damage over time hits. The next spot could be filled with Morrigan. I wouldn't call her a healer anymore, but she has great supporting abilities and she can spawn up to 10 skeletons which receive buffs too. The next Eternity hero could be Phobos. At the beginning I didn't see the big synergy effect between him and Iris, but then I saw his big magic defense reduction and his green skill. This is the reason why we countered the Phobos before so easily. It reduces together with Bitey the magic defense by 35,000. It's a debuff too, done by an Eternity hero, and the cooldown of this ability is only 6 seconds. To make the team complete, we can add Faceless. His additional magic defense and his power throw are better in the fight than you could expect by reading this text. His artifact weapon provides a magic penetration buff, which is great too. The best part is he can copy Iris' ultimate and it has both effects of it. But Faceless copy is even stronger. It's with his own penetration buff plus it's a 240 level skill. This combo is generally stronger against magic teams, but it has also some versatile usage and that's why you find it often as defense. A great option to maximize Iris' all burning damage is to combine her with Mojo. His rework was great and he fits very well with her and even with her whole faction. Mojo's artifact weapon provides magic penetration too, but we are aiming for his hex ability. It collects all done damage within 2 seconds and hits again. The additional damage can be pretty strong and Iris' magic defense reduction helps him too. Here do we see the power of Mojo's blue skill together with his hex ability. adding Dante is pretty nice too. His violet skill is a debuff, and because of the same faction, the burning damage is doubled. And his green skill buffs all allies, which has also a positive effect on Iris' ultimate. Plus, it helps to survive better against physical teams. His back pushing is really annoying, and it interrupts often the ultimate of your enemies. His debuff guarantees a nearly always active burning skill for the frontline heroes. But unfortunately, it does not apply multiple burning effects like I thought. So we have only one burning effect on dead enemies. Nevertheless, he works pretty well with Iris. To increase Iris' burning effect dramatically, you can use Nebula and her amazing boosting ability. The timing between the start of Bitey's walk and her buff is not good, but Bitey is slow, and exactly when he arrives, the sphere is active and the burning effect does now 20k per second. So the timing is perfect and it works pretty well for the whole fight. A very great side effect, the reduction of the magic defense is increased too. At max we will have about 37,000. To create another aggressive Iris combo, you can combine the Chaotix with her. Xisha's magic attack boosts are getting always stronger, and Lilith's debuff reduces the magic defense too. The damage is very high and Iris' switch off is perfect for the kill. Now let's go to the counters. Iris is very easy countered by Corvus and his passive alter damage. Her dots are a big feast for him and she gets for each hit 15k pure damage back. Yeah, Eternity looks a little bit different for me. Iris damage over time makes also room for Leon. Her passive ability charms every enemy who hits her. Iris damage over time tick triggers always Leon's passive. And even Iris comes out of it, due to other hits, she gets affected again. Very nice. If Iris plays together with debuffers, her passive still works and it looks like she is the whole fight charmed. Her low magical ticks can be used against herself with Aurora. She can be very great, and here do we see her potential. She absorbs most of the damage and the explosion hurts really with 65,000. Such a big hit stuns even Iris. And sometimes Aurora wins against all the left heroes, thanks to that skill and her own magic penetration value. The next way to counter Iris is to block her low magical hits completely with a mirror. A mirror's aura blocks lower magical hits and we see this block text. For Mystic is that aura permanent, and for other factions only when she uses her blue skill. That means Iris can't do damage with her burning effects. Plus, Amira's artifact weapon has a magic defense buff. Our new hero, Julius, works as counter too. His shields remove all negative effects if they get destroyed, and Iris damage over time will be removed too. How can we counter the counter? Especially the easy Corvus has here an easy solution. Dorian. His aura is just amazing. Although Iris gets more pure damage than she does with her ticks, she's able to use her ultimate. And this does quite good damage to all enemies, over damages the altar, and it heals herself again. Nevertheless, it feels always dangerous and the stun right timed, or like here together with Mojo's Hex, she dies pretty quickly. The best option is to combine them with Dante. His violet skill debuffs Corvus and it reduces the alter damage. Her save healing is nearly the same and she doesn't drop down dangerously. Our little princess is quite good against Iris. We have only two options, avoiding her shield explosion, but it's not so easy, and the second option, reducing her damage. Her higher native magic penetration causes this problem. We can solve it for example with magic defense and with Dante's debuff. Yes, you hear right, it's the same way he reduces Corvus' alter. This hit does normally about 65,000. But Dante's debuff reduces it a lot. With Phobos' magic defense buffs, her explosion damage is very low now. Nevertheless, a very dangerous girl. I hope you have enjoyed this video.
I'll be back.
Peace.